Hi there.
Hi.
Listen, Scott's algorithms are just wonky, so if you would like, subscribe, and follow us, that'd be great.
Ow! My algorithms!
We don't want to, he's no fun when his algorithms are out of whack.
Seen where those things have
So
gone?
please, like, subscribe, and follow so we can whack his algorithms into shape.
Ow!
You can also leave a comment wherever you find us, and if you'd like, you can leave a comment, a story, a question, a comment, an opinion, or a snark. Please, well-written snarks would be appreciated.
We like it that way.
TITR@netradio.network.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true,
Really?
as far as you know.
In a story for NPR's Hidden Brain. And why wouldn't NPR have a show called Hidden Brian?
Somehow Pinky and the Brian just doesn't work for me. I'm just... So, Brian, what are we going to do today? I'm sleeping, man. I don't know about you.
It's a radio show and podcast about life's unseen patterns. A woman named Amanda Birch recounted an astounding discovery she made while talking with her writing professor at the University of Rhode Island.
They have a university in Rhode Island?
They do.
Who knew?
The professor, who knew it was big enough for it? The professor mentioned that she lived in a small Vermont town, which Birch excitedly shared was the same town her mother had grown up in.
And what with her coming to school there, it almost doubled the population of Rhode Island.
And when Birch told her professor her mother's maiden name, that's when things got a little bit eerie. They realized the professor now resides in the very same home her mother grew up in. Nice, huh?
Waiting for Rod Serling to step out.
No, does this remind you of the time we made that phone call to, where were we? We called Boston, and we were looking for some answers.
And they said, please come to Boston.
No, but the lady on the other end was obviously a lovely Black American.
Yep.
And her last name was Combs.
No, that wasn't it.
That was.
Oh, that was.
And I said, hey,
sorry,
you know,
that was very eerie.
And it was at a time when I was asking everybody if they knew somebody I knew there, right? And so I said, hey, do you know my cousin Jimmy over at Boston College? And she said, is he the one with all the tackles? And I said, yep. And that's when Tony fainted and then killed himself.
That day. Twice. I fainted, I killed myself, they revived me, and I died again.
I asked her if we were related, and she said, I don't think so, honey. She was very sweet. Anyway, Amy Maiden and Nick Wheeler were sifting
Actually, what she meant to say was, oh, God, I hope not. But she was nicer than that.
We're sifting through old family photographs in anticipation of their upcoming nuptials. Only to nuptials.
Ah.
Only to discover a striking coincidence. They had unknowingly taken their first picture together as children 11 years before they had met.
So they weren't brother and sister, right?
No, the two grew up over 300 miles apart at opposite ends of opposite corners of England. Nick's family had been on a beach vacation in Amy's hometown, and the picture of the two shows Amy and her family just sitting feet behind Nick, with both of them playing in the sand.
Oh,
isn't that cute?
That is too cute for the room.
I love that. Back to you in the studio.
That happens to my son all the time.
Does it really?
Yeah. You travel anywhere in the freaking world for Kenneth. Do you know Eric? So I went from for Kenneth, you related to Earl, to for Kenneth, do you know Eric? Although when we were in Hawaii.
Son, father.
When we were watching a Wild game at 2 in the afternoon
in Hawaii,
at a bar in Hawaii, and we meet a lady who grew up in North Dakota, and my son has married a lovely young lady from North Dakota.
Yeah. I'll attest to that.
She was there, and turns out that Elena's brother is at the same country club with the lady we just met. So we lost her for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah.
There were no Dak stories galore. Cedar Point Shores Water Park, Sandusky, Ohio, which is nowhere near North Dakota or Hawaii.
Unless you live in Ukraine.
Or look at it on a map from a distance.
Yeah, there we go.
Cedar Point Shores Water Park, scene of a, well, what might have been a rather routine dust-up, I think, betwixt and among patrons. But as the Smoking Gun reported, and believe me, if the Smoking Guns reported it, it's not routine. It developed into a whole lot more. Cops responded after a woman allegedly called a child a brat and fat ass, and then pushed him off a floating toy.
Floating toy?
That's maternal instinct right there.
I thought this was a bar.
Water Park?
Well, it's in UK, right? No,
Ohio?
It's in Sandusky. So it is a bar.
Probably. She identified... Jennifer Lee Miller, 67, said she was a, quote, Christian woman, a grandmother, and she wouldn't do such a thing. After officers gave her a warning and left the scene, they determined that the woman had given them a false name.
Christian woman.
Honestly, a Christian woman, a grandmother, wouldn't do that either. Lady. Her name is really Jeanette Nail, Taylor, Michigan. She was arrested for obstruction because if an officer asks you something, and you lie about everything he asks you, that's obstruction of justice.
You're just going to get it.
Now you've got probably, if not a misdemeanor, a tiny little felony on your record. Good for you. Well played, Granny. And nice about pushing the kid right off. And
what a
names.
poop head.
Wow, even Scott wouldn't do that much.
Oh, I would too.
Not much. Once or twice, but...
Yeah, but never more than 7 or 8 times.
Exactly.
Except for the 12th.
Well, because the 12th is kind of magical.
Yeah, you need to get that in an even number. So 15 is about perfect.
Otherwise, it just looks silly when you write it out.
Yeah. Ann Hughes, 72.
And it's less than 20, so...
which seems like a lot. Ann Hughes, 72, a cleaner at Best One convenience store in, oh boy, Tonteg, Ronda,
You're casting a spell.
Taft. No, I'm trying to read a Welsh word. Tonteg Ronda Sinan Taft.
Are you talking a city name?
Yes.
It's Springfield.
Oh, okay. A store in Springfield, Wales, was lifted several feet into the air.
That even sounds wrong.
When her coat got caught in the security door as it was rolling up to open the shop. As you might imagine.
Please, God, tell me there's video.
The store shared the clip on TikTok, where it's been watched 1.8 million times.
I don't have TikTok on this machine.
I'll never hear the end of it, she said.
Yeah, that's true.
She said it with a Welsh accent. Apparently, she'd been leaning against the door when the shop owner opened the gate from the inside. He couldn't hear me shouting when I realized I'd been caught, she told the BBC. The shutter was completely open, and then I screamed his name, and thank goodness he came out and lowered the shutter a little bit and managed to get me in his arms. And I can just remember him saying to him, just grab my head. I was worried I was going to fall. I was pointing towards the floor. And by God, she is. She is hanging upside down. And just kind of swinging there, waving her arms about and shouting. As for her newfound fame, I'll have to fandle the... Fandle?
I'd rather her burger, but that's just me.
I'll have to fondle the fame.
Fandles and her burgers were true.
I'll have to handle
growing up.
I have to handle the fame.
I like Fandle better.
And always have my makeup on.
I like to have to fandle the hame.
I'll never go against those shutters again. Never. I've learned my lesson. Have you? Have you really?
2 weeks later.
At a park and ride. Here she is.
Bob Blankenship, Ormond Beach, Florida. That would make him a Florida man?
Yes, it would.
He would like some answers, please. Because he, last May, discovered multiple airplane parts, including a windshield, in his yard. According to News 6, Blankenship lives near the Ormond Beach Airport. He's used to the noise because it's an airport. But pieces of fiberglass and metal falling down from the sky rather concerned him a little bit.
Would me if I were the pilot.
Pretty much understandable. It could fall on anybody out here, he said. Just think if it fell from 300 feet. What's the impact going to be?
Well, it depends on how
I don't have the exact
aerodynamic
numbers, but it'd be a lot.
Well, how big is it? Is it aerodynamic?
Don't care how big. I don't care if it's floating down from the sky into me. Do I?
Maybe. See, terminal velocity changes if there's enough lift under it.
Blankenship determined.
I think
which
I'm doing
plane,
a bra commercial now.
Hang on a moment of silence for Jane Russell. There we go. Blankenship determined which to think she was like top flight movie star actress person, and most of the folks my generation remember her as selling bras for Playtex.
Yep.
Yeah. Blankenship determined, we're going to get through this if it kills you. Blankenship determined that the plane had been flying over and Blankenship determined, which plane? Wow, the difference a word makes. Had been flying over and contacted the airport, leaving his contact information. That must have been a great phone call. Hi, Phil's Airport.
I've got your windshield.
What? Later, he got a message from the pilot that said, hey, this is Douglas. I'm over in D-Land, and I lost a piece of my airplane yesterday.
Did you see it?
I'm wondering, could I connect with you and come and get it back, maybe? No, said Blankenship. But he did report the incident to the FAA. Tattletale. FAA claimed that the falling aircraft part situation is being taken seriously by our organization.
You think?
You knew it was because there was only a tiny bit of laughter in the background.
Right.
Blankenship so far unsatisfied with any response. It's been rather slow. The next time it could be somebody's life, he said. Son.
That's true.
Let me just put it as succinctly as I can. It's a government agency. If you live to see them do something, that's breakneck speed.
You know, you reminded me of one time we were going south on Highway 65. We were pulling up to the stoplight at 105th. You know where I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I looked in the rearview mirror, and behind
me,
surprise, I saw an aircraft suddenly kind of vault over all the lights and wires at 109th behind me.
That can't be good.
And I went, and I took a look at his trajectory, and I go, okay, he's going to miss us. But I said to everybody in the car, watch this.
This could be entertaining.
Passed right over top of us. His left wing caught in the left turn lane. There was a truck with a topper on it. Left wing caught the topper. The topper went ping straight up in the air. And as he ducked under the wires at 105th, put the thing down safely, slid to a stop. That was absolutely remarkable.
Got out, had somebody hold his beer, and just...
Hey, when we got there, he was smoking a cigarette, and I can see why.
I would have probably been on my 15th by then.
Right. Got to settle down.
All at once.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.